This is the layout for the house. It may look scary, I know. There are 2 sides that are 4 blocks wide, and every building tutorial I've ever seen has told you not to build on even edges, but trust me, it'll all make sense once we get to the second level. Pause the video if you need to, make sure you get this template down. Next up, you're probably going to want to see the build palette for this. For this one, we chose a nice palette of spruce wood, stone, andesite, and gravel. These are going to be used for your first layer. And then the walls on the second layer are going to be these stripped oak wood with the spruce logs as trim again. And then your roof trim is going to be made out of black stone, and then your roof block is going to be made out of the warped stem and the cyan wool. Alright, now you should be able to fill in the spruce logs and the stone, andesite, and gravel into this kind of pattern. Make sure you randomize the stone, andesite, and gravel blocks just to give the wall some texture, make it not look so monotonous. For this next part, begin building up the walls 3 high, 3 higher than your initial block that you placed, so it's going to end up being 4 blocks tall. I only do 3 in the video here, but I end up going back in and adding the 4th one later. We're going to have to remove a few of them to put logs in, but it's much easier to just place the 4 block high walls now and then handle the rest later. For the 4th layer of the wall, any spot where you have 2 stone blocks next to each other with logs next to them, you're going to get rid of that 4th layer of stone and place logs sideways across them. Once you are at that 4th block level, you are going to begin expanding the second layer of the house out by 1 block on each of the sides shown. You're going to alternate between upside down stairs and trapdoors. If you don't have access to dark oak wood, just use spruce, it will work just as well. Alright, for the next part, we're going to be looking at the roof of the first section of the house. It's going to come over this first 4 wide stone wall, and it's going to connect up with the second floor trim on the front side. It's going to be sending out sideways. It's going to meet up in a peak. You're going to use your walls as your upside down stairs as you would in a 2 tall A-frame house. And then you're just going to go up by 1 stone block on top of the wall, a stair on the top of the stone block, and you're going to repeat this with your black stone all the way up until you get to the peak. And once you get to the peak, where you would just place that upside down stair, you're just going to replace it with another black stone wall. And you're going to pop your roof out, your little top bit, with 1 extra block upside down. Once you finish that roof section, you're going to want to move on to the second layer. Every wall is going to be built up by 4 blocks standard, and on the front side, every incrementing block inward is going to be built up by 2. So your final highest peak will end up being 10 blocks tall. Here you see all 4 sides. Make sure to pause the video if you need to get all those down. On the back side of the house, you'll notice that the back wall is only 5 wide, whereas on the front it is 7 wide. You're going to need to put an upside down stair on the 4th block on the outside of that wall, as you see here, just to make the walls an even length on either side. And you'll just move up 2 blocks from there with your spruce pillars, and then continue up 2 blocks with your oak as well. For your roofs, just pillar up at a 2 tall A-frame using your wall on the bottom where you would place an upside down stair, followed by a full black stone block and then a stair facing towards the middle. And you'll do this all the way up until you reach the peak, where instead of using an upside down stair, you use the wall again, with a regular stair facing outward on top of it, and another one upside down outside of that. Make sure on the back side of the house that you place that upside down stair there, and again continue using the same roof style around the house, following the contours and trimming the entire roof as seen here. Finally, now that we have the walls and the roof trim in place, it's finally time to put on the actual roof. Here we're going to use a combination of cyan wool and the stripped wharf hypheny block, and we're just going to build up 2 layers on every single side, and we're just going to move it up as you see here in the video. Right now we're going to handle all of the easy side first, and then we're going to put on the top of the roof trims, and then we're going to go back in and handle the finer details a little bit later. Next up, we're going to trim the roofs. On the top 2 roof trims, you're going to use stairs in an alternating fashion like this. All the way across the top, it should line up with each other on either side. And on the bottom roof layer, instead you're going to be using a slab and full block combination instead. It's the same pattern, it's just offset by 1 block. It just gives it a little more depth. Now we're going to move on to the tricky part of the roof. We waited to do this part last because you don't want to end up placing unnecessary blocks, and it just makes it a little bit easier to visualize where these are going. Once you pull these back a few blocks, you can see that they're going to meet up with the other sides of the roof right in the center. This is going to create a nice effect for your roof, and voila, your roof is done. This next bit is just a bit of a time lapse of some of the extra details I added. You're going to see 1 window with the dormer on top of it, leading all the way up to the top of the roof, a bay window, and another window on the other side. This is a very versatile house. It fits with a lot of different palettes. Here you can see I just changed up the roof color a few times just to give you a few ideas of all the different things you can do. Obviously you can change the wood colors, you can change any of the colors of the roof. It's really up to you. This is just a template so that you can make something that looks nice in your world or on any server that you're on. Here's a few glamour shots of the interior of the version of this house that I built on a server that I play on. As you can see on the inside, I use these double thick walls. As you can see right here when I open the door. Double thick walls so that the interior feels a lot more cozy, and I also don't have to have that stone outside on the inside here. Here we have like a nice little living room. There's a little kitchen off to the side here. Upstairs you have a little lounge area and the bedroom. It's just a casual build, nothing too survival-ish for this one. But yeah, this is how I decorated it. Obviously you can do something a bit more survival if you want this to be a starter house, but yeah, here's the house.